I thought life couldn't get better. My career was finally taking off. Elena's smile made every day brighter. And Liam, my best friend since childhood, had always had my back. I leaned back in my chair at the restaurant, swirling my glass of red wine, and said, "So, Liam, you really think this deal will go through next week?" He smirked, leaning closer. "I've crunched the numbers. It's practically a done deal. You know me, never overpromise." I laughed, but my mind wasn't entirely at ease. Something about the way he glanced at his phone when it buzzed caught me off guard. "Who's texting you?" I asked casually. Liam's smile faltered for just a second before he pocketed his phone. "Oh, just a client. Nothing important." I wanted to push further, but I didn't. Maybe it was paranoia. Maybe it was nothing. Still, a flicker of unease settled in my chest. Elena's voice broke my thoughts. "You two talk too much business. What about us?" I smiled at her, reaching across the table to hold her hand. "I'm listening now." "What's up, love?" She shrugged, looking out the window. "Nothing really. Just tired, I guess." I frowned. "Tired. You've been brushing me off a lot lately. Are we okay?" She hesitated, her eyes avoiding mine. I said, "I'm fine. Don't make it a bigger deal than it is." I swallowed hard. Her distance gnawed at me. "Elena, I care about you. I can tell when something's wrong." She looked at me, eyes soft but guarded. "I'm just stressed. Don't overthink it." I wanted to believe her, but the tiny cracks in my perfect life were becoming more visible. I forced a laugh and changed the topic, talking about work and weekend plans. But I couldn't shake the tension. Later that night, I sat at my desk, checking emails before heading home. One subject line caught my eye: confidential, urgent strategy discussion. I clicked it, expecting routine office matters, but the message was cryptic and alarming. "Trust no one. Watch your back. Plans are shifting faster than anticipated." I leaned back, heart pounding. I read it again, trying to make sense of the vague warning. Liam Collins. Someone else I trusted? The room felt colder suddenly, and I clenched my fists. "What the hell?" I muttered under my breath. The phone buzzed again. A message from Elena. "You're overthinking everything. Stop." Stared at it, tension twisting inside me. I wanted to text back to ask if she was hiding something too, but I didn't. Not yet. Not before I knew the full story. The next morning, Liam called. "Hey, you okay? You seemed off last night." I forced a casual tone. "I'm fine. Just a weird email at work. Nothing serious." He laughed, but I noticed the flicker of unease in his eyes. Emails can be tricky. Don't let it get to you. I didn't reply immediately. Something about his tone, the way he paused before speaking, the slight hesitation, it didn't sit right. I wanted to ask more, to confront him, but I swallowed my suspicion. Not yet. Patience was key. At lunch, Elena joined me at the cafe near the office. I tried to talk, to bridge the growing gap. "Elena, I feel like we're drifting. Can we talk about it?" She shook her head, stirring her coffee. I said, "I'm fine. You're making this into drama." Her words stung, sharper than I expected. "Drama?" I asked, voice tight. "Elena, I don't want drama. I just want honesty." She looked away, biting her lip. "I am honest. You just read too much into things." I clenched my jaw, fighting the rising frustration. I wanted to scream, to shake her until she admitted there was more beneath the surface. But I didn't. Instead, I nodded silently, swallowing the lump in my throat. By the end of the day, I felt the weight of unease pressing down. Trust, once my foundation, now seemed fragile. I shut my laptop, staring at the city lights below. Thinking about the email, Liam's secretive glances, and Elena's distance, I whispered to myself, almost as a warning, almost as a promise, someone's planning against me, and I will find out who. The perfect life I thought I had. It was already cracking. Asterisk, I was heading toward the break room when I heard Liam's voice, low and urgent. "No, it has to be done before he finds out. The promotion can't go to him," he whispered. I froze, my stomach twisting. That voice Liam's plotting against me? I pressed myself against the wall, heart racing. A stranger's reply was muffled. Relax. Everything's under control. He won't see it coming. I took a step back, my mind reeling. This can't be real. Later, I cornered Liam near the elevators. Hey, Liam, can we talk? My voice was steady, but my hands trembled. He turned, feigning surprise. Of course. What's on your mind? I stared at him. Earlier, in the hallway? What was that about? You and that guy. Planning something? His expression shifted, guilt masked by a faint smile. Planning something. You're imagining things. Seriously, not imagining anything. I heard you. I leaned in, unable to hide my anger. Liam, don't lie to me, sighed, looking down briefly. I swear you misheard. I'd never do anything to sabotage you. You've always known me better than that. I wanted to believe him, but my mind kept replaying every word I'd overheard. Are you sure? Because it sounded pretty convincing to me. He met my eyes, steady and calm. I promise, nothing like that is happening. Trust me, okay? I forced a nod, though doubt lingered. I wanted answers, but I didn't have them. Later that evening, I tried talking to Elena. Elena, I think something's going on at work. Liam, she interrupted, frowning. Not this again. You're letting your paranoia take over. Can we just have one evening without suspicion? I'm not paranoid. I snapped, frustrated. I heard him, Elena. He's hiding something. Her hands shook slightly as she put her coffee down. You can't just accuse people without proof. You're scaring yourself and me. I clenched my fists under the table. I need to know the truth. I can feel it. She looked away, voice cold. You feel too much. Maybe step back and breathe. Her frustration cut deeper than I expected. Step back? Elena, this isn't just feelings. Something's happening and I can't ignore it. She sighed, softening slightly. I care about you, but I won't let you drag us into your fears. Please, stop pushing. I stayed silent, tension twisting in my chest. I wanted her to see, to understand, but she refused. The next morning, I walked into the office, eyes scanning faces. Searching for any sign of betrayal, Mr. Collins gave me a polite nod, but I noticed the subtle smirk that had annoyed me for months. Good morning, he said. Morning, I replied, keeping my voice calm. Watch carefully, I thought. Every glance, every whisper, it could be a clue at my desk. Secondary colleagues passed by, gossiping quietly, their laughter sharp and knowing. I wondered if they noticed my unease. Probably not, but every subtle glance felt like confirmation of my isolation. During lunch, laptop open, but ignored. My mind replayed the hallway conversation, Liam's words, Elena's frustration. I could feel the anger bubbling under the surface, but I forced it down. I couldn't act impulsively. Not yet, I whispered to myself, steadying my resolve. I'll find the truth. I'll uncover everything. Without them knowing I'm watching, the weight of betrayal pressed down on me. But for the first time, I felt a flicker of clarity. I wasn't powerless. I had patience, observation, and determination. By the end of the day, I left the office with my resolve firm. Liam might be hiding something. Elena might not understand my paranoia. And Collins might already be plotting, but I had a plan forming in my mind. Quiet, calculated, and unstoppable. I would uncover the truth. And when I did, no one would see it coming. I sat at my desk, staring at the files Liam had misplaced. Something wasn't right. I had heard the whispers, the hints of collusion, and now the evidence felt damning. I heard a knock, Elena. I called. She walked in, arms crossed. You've been quiet all day. What's going on? I swallowed, forcing calm. I think someone at work is trying to undermine me. I heard Liam talking to someone yesterday. I'm not sure what it's about. She frowned. You're still on that? You're letting your suspicions control you. It's exhausting for both of us. I'm not just being suspicious. I saw it, I heard it. He's hiding something. Elena's eyes softened, but her tone stayed firm. Maybe he's stressed. Or maybe you're imagining things. You always jump to conclusions. I stood abruptly, anger bubbling. Imagining things. Alina, this isn't imagination. I overheard him plotting against me. How can you dismiss that? She took a deep breath. Because you're letting fear guide you. Trust, once broken, can't always be repaired immediately. But your paranoia isn't helping. I clenched my fists, trying to control my frustration. I can't ignore it. If he's sabotaging me, I need to know now. I can't just sit and wait. She stepped closer, voice lower. You've changed. I barely recognize you. The anger, the constant suspicion. I love you, but this obsession is pushing me away. Her words hit harder than I expected. I sank into my chair. I don't want to lose you too. But I can't stand by and do nothing. Not when everything I've worked for is at risk. She sighed, eyes glistening. I know you're hurting, but some battles aren't worth losing each other over. I wanted to reach for her, but I didn't. My trust felt fractured, delicate. I had to protect myself first. Later, I found a memo left on my desk, unsigned, but unmistakably strategic. Prepare for changes. He won't expect it. My pulse quickened. Liam Collins, someone I trusted. I grabbed my phone. Liam, I said, voice tight. We need to talk, now. He met me in the parking lot, hands in pockets. You're tense. What's going on? I know something's happening. You and Collins. Plotting against me, aren't you? His expression shifted, eyes widening slightly. Plotting? You've got it all wrong. I would never what? Lie to me? Sabotage my career? You think I wouldn't notice? He ran a hand through his hair. I promise you misheard. There's no plot. I swear. I stared, uncertainty warring with the memory of yesterday. Then explain the memo. Explain the whispers. Explain everything. He shook his head. I don't need to explain what didn't happen. You have to trust me. Trust. The word tasted bitter. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But my gut screamed otherwise. That night, Alina avoided my calls. I can't deal with your paranoia, she texted. My chest tightened, loneliness settling in. The person I leaned on felt distant, unreachable. I paced my apartment, thoughts spinning. The betrayal cut deep, isolation sharper, but anger fueled clarity. I couldn't lash out, not yet. I needed patience, observation, a plan, I whispered to myself, voice steady but fierce. I'll uncover the truth. Quietly, carefully, and when I do, they'll regret underestimating me. I sank into the couch, staring at the ceiling. Liam's face, Elena's frustration, Colin's shadowed ambition, they all danced in my mind. I felt small, trapped, but also alive, aware that the game had begun. The night stretched long, but my resolve hardened. Betrayal had changed everything. I wouldn't be the same. I stared at my reflection in the office window, watching the city lights blur into streaks of gold. I can't let this destroy me, I muttered, gripping the edge of the desk. Maya, my mentor, appeared behind me. You've been quiet today? Too quiet. I turned. I'm thinking about how to fix everything. She raised an eyebrow. Fix or revenge? I hesitated. Both, maybe, but carefully. I can't let blind anger ruin me, she nodded. Smart. Blind rage is useless. Patience is your strongest weapon. I need guidance, I admitted, lowering my gaze. I can't just react anymore. Maya's smile was calm, almost soothing. Then we start small. Observe, plan, and control your emotions. If you strike too soon, you lose. If you wait, you gain everything, I swallowed, letting her words sink in. Okay, I can do that. I have to. She leaned closer, voice low. Step 1. Regain your confidence. Step 2. Rebuild your image. Step 3. Position yourself strategically. Then, when the time is right, you act. I nodded, feeling a spark of hope. Step 1. Confidence. Later, Liam walked past my office. I caught his glance, pretending not to notice, but inside I analyzed every twitch of his face. Careless today. Vulnerable. During lunch, Maya and I sat at a quiet cafe. Observe the environment, the players, the patterns, she said, sipping her tea. You'll notice things others miss. I leaned forward. Like what? Like hesitation in a smile. A slip of the hand. Overconfidence. Small errors add up. People reveal themselves if you watch closely. I nodded slowly, feeling clarity. I've been blind before. Not anymore. Back at the office, Collins passed by, tossing a folder carelessly onto a colleague's desk. I watched him, noting the subtle frustration in his posture. Patience? Wait, by the afternoon I had a small victory. A project that Collins tried to claim credit for was quietly reassigned to me. The colleague in charge looked relieved to hand it over. I smiled inwardly. Step 1. Confidence regained. Later, Maya stopped by my desk. You did well today? But remember, control your emotions. Appear calm, even if the storm is inside. I feel different, I admitted. Not angry, not desperate, focused. That's good. Focused minds see opportunities blind hearts miss. At dinner, Alina called. Hey, are you okay? You sound different. I hesitated. I'm learning to handle things better. Slowly. She sounded cautious. Slowly. Yes. I've realized I can't let paranoia or betrayal control me. I have to plan, step by step. There was a pause. I guess I understand. I just hope you don't shut me out completely. I smiled faintly, though she couldn't see. I'm not shutting you out. I'm finding myself again. After hanging up, I sat back, reflecting. The anger that once consumed me had shifted into calculation. Patience became my ally. Observation, my weapon. I could feel the tide turning. Maya's words echoed. Control, emotions, watch, wait. I repeated them silently, letting them settle in my mind like a mantra by the end of the night. I reviewed my notes, analyzed every interaction, and marked small victories. Each step, carefully measured, was a move in a game only I fully understood. I whispered into the empty office, voice steady. I won't let betrayal define me. I'll regain everything, and more. The first time in weeks, I felt a calm determination, a quiet fire that refused to be snuffed out. The turning point was here. The game had changed. I arrived at the office early, coffee in hand, watching as the usual hum of activity began. Liam walked past, talking loudly to a colleague. I noticed the slight twitch in his hand when he gestured. Careless today, I thought, smirking inwardly. Later, Collins strode by, tossing papers onto a desk. Good morning, he said, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I nodded politely, keeping my expression neutral. Every move counts. At lunch, Maya slid into the booth across from me. How's observation going? She asked. Better than expected, I said. Liam seems anxious. Collins overconfident. Minor slips everywhere. Maya leaned forward. Good. Patience. Those small errors will grow into opportunities. Let them make mistakes. I nodded. It's satisfying to watch them unravel, even if they don't know it yet. Focus on strategy, she reminded. Don't let emotion take over. You want control, not just revenge. I agreed silently, sipping my coffee. Control, patience, observation. I repeated it in my head like a mantra. Back at my desk, a colleague whispered something about Colin's latest misstep. I pretended not to hear, but I recorded it mentally. Every word is a piece of the puzzle. Later, Liam appeared at my cubicle. Hey, busy? He asked, tone casual, but eyes darting nervously. Just catching up, I replied. You seemed stressed today. Everything okay? He laughed, but it was hollow. Stressful week. Deadlines. You know how it is. Yeah, I do, I said, keeping my voice calm. Seems like you're making mistakes. Hope it's nothing serious. Paused, his forced smile flickering. Mistakes? No. Nothing serious. Just tired, I nodded, hiding the satisfaction I felt. Step by step, by mid-afternoon, another small victory presented itself. Collins mismanaged a client email, sending confidential info to the wrong contact. I noticed before it escalated and quietly fixed it. My colleagues noticed and smiled, relief in their eyes. Later, Maya called. You handled that well. Subtle. No confrontation. Perfect execution. Thanks, I said. I'm learning to be patient. The mistakes they make are becoming tools, not triggers. But dinner was quiet at home. Alina sat across from me, eyes searching mine. You seem different lately, she said. I am, I admitted. I'm learning to manage things calmly, not letting anger or betrayal control me anymore. She frowned slightly. Good, you're handling it, but don't lose yourself in revenge. I reached for her hand. I won't. I'm still me. I'm just stronger, more careful. She squeezed my hand lightly, but her gaze wavered. I just don't want us to drift apart while you're planning. We won't, I said with conviction. I've learned the power of observation, patience. I can protect myself and us. That night, I reviewed every interaction, every email, every slip from Liam and Collins. Each tiny error was a step forward. Each glance, a hint of vulnerability. I felt a strange satisfaction. Knowing that I was quietly building my advantage, Maya's earlier words echoed. Patience and strategy beat rage every time. I whispered to myself, voice steady, almost smug. I see the cracks forming. Soon, the foundation will crumble, and I'll be ready. The shadows of betrayal no longer haunted me. They guided me. Every subtle mistake, every overconfident smile from Liam or Collins fueled my determination. I wasn't just surviving, I was rising. By the end of the day, I felt an unusual calm, a quiet strength. The game was shifting. The players didn't know it yet, but the board was mine to manipulate. I sat back in my chair, looking at the city through the office window and whispered step by step, they're unraveling, and I'll be ready when the time comes. Asterisk, I arrived at the office with a sense of anticipation, coffee in hand, watching everything unfold. Collins walked past, papers spilling from his arms. Careful, I said, not lifting my eyes from my notes. He muttered, embarrassed, glancing around as colleagues smirked. Step one of karma, quietly working, I thought. Maya appeared at my desk, leaning slightly over the edge. He's slipping, she whispered. Notice the little cracks. Don't rush. I see them, I said, voice low. Every twitch, every hesitation. Liam came over, feigning casualness. Busy morning, he asked, avoiding my gaze. Always, I replied smoothly. You seem tense? Everything all right? He smiled nervously, then glanced down at his phone. Yeah, just a lot on my plate. I nodded, hiding my satisfaction. I know how that feels. During lunch, a minor error by Collins went unnoticed by the rest of the office, but I caught it. I corrected it silently and emailed the client myself. Later, the colleague thanked me quietly. You're handling this brilliantly, Maya said later in the afternoon, stopping by my office. Control, patience, observation, let them crumble themselves. I'm learning, I admitted. Watching them make mistakes is satisfying in a way. Maya gave me a sharp look. Don't confuse satisfaction with arrogance. Stay alert. They'll sense overconfidence if you let it show. I nodded. Understood. By mid-afternoon, Liam made another careless remark during a client call. I caught it, took notes, and smiled inwardly. Step by step, the picture became clearer. Every slip revealed his plan, and every slip was a gift. Alina called that evening. You sound calm, she said. Are things better? I hesitated, measuring my words. I'm in control now. Watching, learning, not letting anger dictate me anymore. She paused. It's different. I like that you're calmer, but don't lose your fire completely. I won't, I said. Fire is useful, but only when directed. Later, a colleague approached me quietly. Did you see Colin's mistake this morning? He doesn't even realize. I smiled faintly. Yes, I did. Don't worry. I've got it under control. At my desk, I organized the emails and files I'd collected, every minor slip, every hint of collusion, every careless word. My plan wasn't complete yet, but the pieces were falling into place. Maya stopped by once more. Remember, she said, voice soft, karma is strongest when they create it themselves. Don't force it. Let them fail naturally. You understand, I replied. I've watched, I've waited. Soon, everything will unravel without me moving a finger too soon. Later, Liam approached my desk again. Hey, can we talk? His tone was less confident than usual. I looked up slowly. About what? Nothing. Just trying to catch up? You've been different. I leaned back, calm. I've been learning to observe, control my reactions, understanding who I can trust and who I can't, he swallowed. Right. Makes sense? I nodded, letting the silence linger. I didn't need to say more. He already felt it, the shift in power, the shift in me. By evening, Colin's mistakes multiplied, small errors compounding. Emails sent incorrectly, deadlines missed, miscommunications piling up. I stayed detached, careful not to gloat, but I noted everything. Every error built the foundation for the final outcome. At home, I reflected on the day. Elena's voice, Liam's nervousness, Colin's overconfidence, they all pointed to one truth. Patience and observation had turned the tide. I wasn't reacting blindly anymore. I was directing the flow. I whispered to myself, voice firm, almost triumphant. They're unraveling. Karma is moving, and I am the calm center, watching it happen. By the time night fell, I felt a rare, calm satisfaction. The pieces were falling into place, and I was ready. I could see the power shifting, subtle but undeniable. Soon, the moment for resolution would come. The game was no longer about survival. It was about justice. And I was in control. I waited in the conference room, hands folded on the table, heart steady. Liam walked in, his usual charm replaced by tension. You wanted to see me? He asked, voice cautious. Yes, I said, keeping my tone calm. We need to talk, he frowned. About work? I leaned back slightly. About trust, betrayal, everything. I know what's been happening. Liam froze. I don't know what you mean. I smiled faintly, controlling the anger I felt. Don't lie to me, Liam. I heard you. I saw the patterns. Every slip, every whispered plan. It's all clear now. His face paled. I didn't mean what? I pressed. To sabotage me? To manipulate outcomes in your favor? He swallowed hard. I was trying to... I don't know, it just happened. I shook my head slowly. Happened. Liam, I trusted you. I thought you had my back. Every moment of that trust was a lie to you. I didn't mean to hurt you. He blurted, voice cracking. I know, I said, voice softer now, but unwavering. But intentions don't erase actions. You've lost that trust. He looked down, guilt consuming him. Can't we fix this? I'll do anything, anything. Do you even understand the damage? The sleepless nights, the paranoia, Elena's frustration, the humiliation at work. He flinched. I didn't think it would go that far. You underestimated me, I said, leaning forward. You thought I'd react blindly, that I'd crumble. But I learned, Liam. I became patient, observant, strategic. I see that now, he whispered. And now? I asked, keeping my eyes on him. Do you regret it? Yes, he admitted, voice barely audible. Every day. I nodded slowly, letting the silence stretch. Regret comes too late. You'll live with it, just as I lived with the uncertainty, the fear, the betrayal. He choked back a sob. I You never thought about me, I said. You only thought about yourself? And that's your mistake. I stood, walking toward the door. I'm not here to punish you. Karma is its own teacher. You'll feel it in every misstep, every lost opportunity. But I've moved past the anger. I control my life now. He looked up, tears in his eyes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know, I said quietly. Sorry doesn't fix everything, but it's all you'll get from me. Later, at my desk, Colin stormed past, unaware I had been observing. He missed deadlines, miscommunicated, and fumbled every task. I didn't interfere. I'll let karma unfold. Step by step, patience proving more effective than rage. Alina called that evening. You handled it? She asked. Yes, I said. Calmly, strategically. The damage is done, but I didn't let it destroy me. Different now, she said softly. I like this side of you, smiled faintly. It's the side that survived betrayal, the side that learned control. I'm stronger, smarter, and careful with my trust. She hesitated. I hope we can heal together someday. Perhaps, I said, voice steady, but I've learned something important. I can't rely on anyone blindly anymore. I can only rely on myself. The office was quiet by the end of the day. I reviewed every email, every conversation, every small victory. Liam's guilt, Colin's mistakes, they were all pieces of the puzzle, falling perfectly into place. I whispered to myself almost as a mantra, I've gained control. Patience beats rage. Observation defeats betrayal. I am stronger than they ever imagined. As I left the building, the city lights reflected off the windows, sharp and clear. For the first time in weeks, I felt unshaken, calm, powerful. The confrontation was over. The lesson had been learned, and I was ready for whatever came next. Asterisk, the morning sunlight spilled through my apartment window. Warm and quiet, but I barely noticed it. My mind was still replaying the events of the last few weeks, the betrayals, the manipulations, the subtle victories. I had survived, but the cost lingered in the corners of my heart. A knock on the door startled me. I opened it to see Alina, standing hesitantly, her expression unreadable. Hi, she said softly. Can we talk? I studied her carefully. Talk. My voice was calm, but guarded. After everything. She nodded, biting her lip. I know I left things unsaid. I didn't understand your anger, your paranoia. And I shouldn't have dismissed it. I wasn't strong enough then. I gestured for her to sit. Go on. She lowered herself onto the couch, hands folded in her lap. I realize now how much you went through, how much you carried alone. And she stopped, struggling for words. I want to apologize for everything I said, for not being there when you needed me. I stayed silent, listening, letting her words sink in. Part of me wanted to reach for her, to say it's okay that I forgave her. But another part, the stronger part, reminded me how much I had changed. I wasn't the same man who once depended on her love for reassurance. I appreciate that, I said finally, voice steady. But things aren't the same anymore. I've grown, and I've learned that my life can't revolve around anyone else's choices. Gosh, her eyes glistened. I understand, I hoped we could find a way to move forward. Slowly, if needed. I smiled faintly. Maybe, but it won't be the same. I can't undo what's happened, and I can't forget. But I've found a different kind of strength now. She nodded, a tear escaping. You've changed. For the better? After she left, I sat in the quiet apartment reflecting on everything. Liam's betrayal, Colin's arrogance, Elena's distance, they had all shaped this new version of me. I realized I no longer feared abandonment, no longer depended on validation from anyone. I had emerged stronger, self-reliant, and patient. Later, I decided to go for a walk. The city was just waking up, the streets quiet, the air crisp. I wandered to the rooftop of a nearby building, the skyline stretching endlessly before me. I leaned on the railing, watching the first rays of the sun peek over the horizon. This is peace, I whispered to myself. A calm I've never known before. I thought about Maya's guidance, her lessons on patience and observation. She had helped me channel my anger into strategy, my fear into clarity. Every step I had taken, every small victory, every careful move had led to this moment. I felt a sense of completion, yet the journey within myself was ongoing. My phone buzzed. A message from Liam. I've realized my mistakes. I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope you're okay. I stared at it, my chest tightening slightly. I didn't reply. Not yet. I didn't need to. He had learned his lesson the hard way. Karma had found its place in his life. Colin's missteps were now obvious to everyone at work. His overconfidence had led to missed opportunities and embarrassment. I didn't gloat. Didn't need to. I had simply allowed time and patience to do their work. Justice had been served quietly, subtly, perfectly. I looked at the sunrise again, golden light reflecting off the buildings, a symbol of renewal. I've survived betrayal, heartbreak, humiliation. And I've grown. The silence of the city wrapped around me, and I felt a clarity I hadn't known in years. My emotions, once raw and uncontrolled, now rested in balance. I could still remember the pain, but it no longer ruled me. A memory of Alina crossed my mind, her smile, her hesitation, her love that had once been my anchor. I realized I could carry that memory without needing her. I could cherish the lessons and let go of dependency. I whispered almost reverently, "This is my life now. My strength, my peace, my choices." The sun rose fully, casting light over everything. It was beautiful. And for the first time, I didn't feel the weight of betrayal pressing on my shoulders. I felt light, free, and resolute. I turned away from the railing, ready to step into the day. Life had tested me, pushed me to the edge, but I had survived. I was stronger, wiser, and fully aware of my own worth. Elena's return, Liam's regrets, Colin's downfall, they were all part of the past. I didn't need to dwell on them. I could move forward, shaped but not broken. Carrying the lessons quietly inside me, I smiled faintly as the city hummed below. The sunrise marked not an end, but a beginning. A life rebuilt from ashes, strength forged through fire. I whispered one last time to the morning air, "I've fallen. I've fought and I've risen. And now, I'm ready for whatever comes next."